This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation, welcome back to another episode of Extreme Resurrection. I'm James Gruenberg, alongside with me, Steve Riddle. Steve, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing good. Glad to be back for another round here as we continue our trek through 2007 ECW.
Yeah, we are fully into 2007 because the last time we had the last 2006 episode, and then we had the first episode of 2007, but now we're fully on board with 2007. Steve, I wanted to bring up two things last week. On ECW last week, Brad Armstrong was doing color commentary with Joey Styles and Taz. Do you remember Brad Armstrong being on ECW?
I had no recollection of that. I remember when I saw that, I was like, "Oh wow!" Because and then I remember reading up on it. I guess he was like working backstage with them at the time, and they wanted to bring him in for some, I guess, for a trial to see if he could work as a commentator. I mean, it was like worth a shot. He's obviously very he's a longtime veteran, comes from a great wrestling family, very knowledgeable. So why not give it a shot?
Yeah, I forgot that there were four Armstrong brothers, because I only remember Road Dogg is Brian Armstrong, Steve Armstrong, and Brad. But also there's the ECW referee Scott Armstrong. So there are four Armstrong brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
then also last week of January 2nd, 2007, when we did the ECW show, do you remember what Raw had that Monday night for what they were promoting?
Was it the night before or the upcoming week?
No. It was before the first ECW of 2007. Raw had the January 1st Monday Night Raw. We had the January 2nd ECW. Do you remember what was on that show?
I believe that was when Kevin Federline wrestled John Cena.
Yeah, and Kevin Federline won due to interference from Umaga. I just wanted to bring that up because I remember just being like, wait a second. That Raw was when Kevin Federline beat John Cena. So, Raw kicked off a little bit of a bang in 2007.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was funny. The Raw before the first show we're doing here, that January 8th Raw, I don't know if you remember, that was when they had the whole the Donald Trump Rosie O'Donnell match with like the two impersonators.
Oh my, no, I don't actually. I forgot that one too.
Yeah, that was I remember that one was like everyone hated it. Like it was just so poorly, but that would begin the the whole the Vince and Trump feud actually going into WrestleMania 23 coincidentally enough.
Well, we'll see where that leads into as we kick off 2007. So, Steve, tonight we have ECW January 9th, 2007 from Peoria, Illinois. We get a recap of last week's ECW title match between RVD and Bobby Lashley. And as we all know, that ended in a draw when RVD went up and did that spinning kick dive onto the announcer's table, and the table broke, and the referee had stopped that match. So we know tonight that there's going to be the rematch again, RVD versus Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you figured that they were probably going to do the rematch here after the controversial ending the previous week.
Yeah. But we kick off this week's show with CM Punk versus Hardcore Holly. These two have been at each other's throats for a little bit while now. Hardcore Holly got himself disqualified before CM Punk could make him tap the Anaconda Vice Grip. And then CM Punk failed to make Hardcore Holly submit within, was it 3 minutes? Yeah, it was 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah.
And failed to get it done, so he gets an Alabama slam for his troubles. Punches and kicks by Punk. A kick to the head to Holly. A power slam by Punk. Punk goes for a shoulder dive, but Holly moves out of the way. Hardcore Holly is just chopping at Punk's chest. A diving leg drop by Hardcore to Punk. A springboard crossbody by Punk. Hardcore Holly then slams CM Punk into the ring post. And then, surprisingly, Steve, clean as a whistle, Hardcore Holly gets an Alabama slam in and pins CM Punk to give CM Punk his first loss in ECW. Steve, I gave this 2 stars. I could not believe that Hardcore Holly, being a heel and all, didn't cheat to win, and they gave him the clean finish, which I was really impressed by and surprised too.
Yeah, I mean, I went 2 stars as well. It's a good, solid little match between these two. That dive that Punk took to the outside was pretty nasty, and like when Hardcore just walked away from it and he hit the floor, that was pretty nasty. Yeah, I was shocked too that I think more shocked for the fact that not only that Holly won, but that he won clean. I'm sure that those on the internet were probably were furious about that decision. And I'm kind of torn because I get that they obviously wanted to end Punk's undefeated streak and not not keep that going with them, which is fine. But it's like you could have picked a better guy to have him give him his first loss than Holly. I mean, I know they were feuding, but it just seems like I don't know. Holly just felt like so out of date by this point. The fact that he's the one that ends Punk undefeated streak just seems really bizarre, especially since nothing came of it for him.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe we will see Hardcore Holly going up against Bobby Lashley, but who really does know, But I thought it was just good that, he got the Alabama slam, and it's like, welcome to ECW, kid, and Hardcore Holly wasn't putting up with Punk anymore, and he beat him. So then we go backstage. Test cuts a promo saying he should be getting an ECW title shot. And apparently he was supposed to have a match, but he says, I'm not coming out to the ring because I deserve to be in an ECW title match, so go on without me. So instead of Test's match, we get Elijah Burke coming out, and he makes an open challenge. Out comes the Sandman from the crowd. So Burke basically just throws some punches, but the Sandman canes Burke out of the ring. So we'll see what transpires between those two. But really good, fun little segment. Elijah Burke making an open challenge, and here comes the Sandman trying to be relevant again to the ECW on Sci-Fi over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of interesting that Burke came out by himself. I think that's that you kind of saw the writing on the wall that maybe he and Tarkai were not much longer as a team, and that they wanted to get Burke on, as a solo act, because I mean he obviously is a good promo and he can go in the ring, and I mean if you're gonna have him paired with somebody, you might as well be Sandman, who's gonna at least be there to put him over. And going back quickly to that Test promo, I thought he had a lot of good energy. Poor Mickey Henson there having to take the brunt of his frustrations there about not getting the title shot. But my God, he looked like he's about to burst out of his skin. Just the veins, and it's like, just so. He's not looking healthy, unfortunately, which is sad considering this push he's getting. He just does not look well.
No, he doesn't. He does not look well, but so we'll see what happens with Test going down, opening up 2007. And now, Steve, well, when a good ECW kicks off, like we say, you can't always get the best of things. Tommy Dreamer versus Great Khali in Extreme Rules match. When I saw this watching it back and it said Extreme Rules, I was like, wow, Tommy can really go all out with the Great Khali, and I thought watching it again, I was like, oh man, this can be like really, really good, like it's Extreme Rules are on Tommy Dreamer's playing field, we can bring out all the weapons. Maybe Great Khali can still get the win, but taking all Tommy Dreamer's pain from like chair shots and everything. This match blows, Steve. Great Khali has his new music, though. He's not using the recycled Muhammad Hassan music, or he's not using Davari's music anymore. He has that full indie melody music. Tommy Dreamer comes out for road sign, but that is no use because Khali just shakes everything off. Massive clothesline by Khali. Khali is just dominating Tommy. Davari takes the real shots to the face with the road sign, but then Khali just slams Tommy and pins him with one foot, not even like a full cover. All he has to do is put his foot on Tommy's chest, and the referee counts it. I went a half a star, Steve. This match was bad.
Yeah, I went half a star too. At least we got a payoff to this finally. We've been talking the last couple of episodes, like, are they gonna, how long are they gonna keep this going before they blow it off? But at least, so we finally got one, especially considering that I mentioned that, the Raw the night before, that Khali actually is now a Raw superstar because he has the Raw graphic and he had debuted the night before. So obviously they've got this out of here to finally, end this feud. The commentary I thought was interesting because Armstrong was almost kind of leaning heel, but saying that Dreamer has more, is more guts than brains, and it's stupid for him to go through with this, and but then they're kind of saying like, this is Extreme Rules is the only chance that he would have against Khali, and like you said, when you see Extreme Rules, you think, okay, maybe they'll get a nice little brawl out of it. Tommy will break out all the weapons, and you'll see how much pain Khali can take. But I mean, really, the road sign was the only weapon that we saw, and the best spot in the match was when Davari took that road sign shot. Good on him to take that. But yeah, it was pretty much just a squash to get Khali over, and then. They do the whole thing after the match, like during the break, where Tommy gets to his feet, and it's just nothing really much there, just to kind of finally put an end to this whole situation. And now it'll be interesting to see what happens to Davari now that Khali is on Raw without him.
Yeah, I forgot that until I saw the Raw, Khali's name under the Raw brand. So yeah, let's see what else happens to Davari. So it is 2007, and let's see where the ECW just goes from here. It's a whole new year, it's a new beginning. It seems like it's going in a good direction. So see if this has some magic for ECW this year. Go backstage now. RVD says he cares about ECW and regaining the ECW, and tonight it comes home with him. I thought it was a really good promo. Rob Van Dam is still and always has been loyal to ECW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good, focused promo by him. He's saying that, he respects Bobby Lashley, but he still hasn't forgotten what happened to him last July, and he's finally going to become champion again. So, good focused energy there by Van Dam.
Yeah, it's so funny how they say the Philly screw job. Joey Styles still saying that. It's like, dude, let it go. But again, nobody let go of the Montreal screw job, so. It's like it's Rob's fault in the first place. So before we get to this, I'm reading this match. It's Kevin Thorne versus Shannon Moore. I'm saying to myself as I watch this match, Steve, they could have given the extra through, like, I don't even know if this match went 3 minutes. Hopefully it did, or even 4. They could have given the extra 4 minutes to Tommy and Great Khali, but instead they don't, and we get this match. I don't think anybody was asking for this match on ECW, and I think you could have given a little bit more time to Tommy versus Great Khali if you're doing the Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, I agree. So according to history of WWE, this match only went 1:36.
Wow.
So
No,
yes, you could have easily cut that off and given it. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, you could have easily cut that off and given it to Khali and Dreamer. I agree.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Basically all I have is Thorne throws Shannon across the ring and gives Shannon Moore the dark kiss, which is like a neck breaker on the top turnbuckle. That's what I got out of it. And I only gave it a half a star. I don't think anybody was asking for this match.
Yeah, no, I give it a quarter star. Just nothing. I mean that inverted slam Moore took out the middle rope. I thought was a nice little spot. And then that dark kiss was just basically just like an elevated stunner off the top rope. Yeah, nothing doing here. Just if anything, it's just an excuse to just show off Ariel, who's looking incredibly hachi machi on this night.
Yes, she is. So now, Steve, it is time for the main event. It is RVD versus Bobby Lashley for the ECW title. And, they were pointing out that since they faced off last time that, both competitors know each other's styles. So hopefully they study their opponents and understand what it takes to beat one another. Shoulder knock by Lashley. RVD takes down Lashley. A spinebuster to RVD. Lashley tosses RVD across the ring. Lashley misses the spear. A leg drop to the outside. A split leg moonsault to Lashley. A windmill kick and rolling thunder by RVD. A belly-to-belly suplex by Bobby. RVD misses the spinning leg dive and hits the table. Lashley spears RVD and is setting him up for the Dominator, but out comes Tess for the DQ. And he basically hits RVD with a chair, with the chair. I gave this a star and a quarter, Steve. Thought it was a good match, but sort of not really a lame ending. But now we know that, Test is putting that full heel in, and he really wants to be ECW champion and have a taste at challenging for the gold.
Mm-hmm. I actually I went 2.5. I really liked this match. I thought both guys worked hard. I thought their styles actually meshed really well for two guys that you thought maybe didn't have that chemistry. I thought they built off the week before. The commentary I thought was pretty interesting because I think while Armstrong has some good insight, I think you could tell he definitely felt a little too timid. Like he wasn't fully prepared for this. I think he was kind of getting lost behind Joey and Taz, and that's why I think next week we don't see him again. But I thought he added some kind of decent insight to this match. You kind of figured that we were going to get a screwy finish based on what Tess said earlier in the night. I would have liked to maybe have seen Lashley get a clean pin on RVD to really solidify his title reign. I don't think it would have hurt RVD at all for him to lose clean here. He's pretty much, not going to be in the title picture anymore. So, he puts Lashley over strong, and then you have Tess come out and attack him. But as is, I thought it was still a pretty good match. And again, I thought a good showcase for both guys, regardless of the finish.
Yeah, good showcase. RVD, everyone says it, he is just really, really good with the kicks. And that's what RVD does. He just kicks, and, if you don't see it coming, you're going to get hit by it.
Hmm. Yeah, and Lashley definitely sold well for him. So he made, like I said, he made RVD look good, even though you knew RVD wasn't going to win the title back.
Yeah. So now we have ECW January 16th at the Alltel Arena in Little Rock, Arkansas. As mentioned last week, and here she is now, Kelly returns, says Kelly's expose is coming back and she will not be alone. So who's going to be Kelly's guest for the next week on ECW for Kelly's expose? Out comes Mad Striker. And I thought he had some funny lines here, Steve. He said, Kelly is a distraction to people who want to be educated, and Kelly's expose is not approved curriculum for health class, basically.
Yeah, he had some good stuff here. Yeah, yeah. Kelly definitely, fine though. Reintroduction to her, the stuff with Knox is pretty much thrown out the window by this point, because she's single, and like you said, she's gonna bring back the expose next week, and yes, Stryker just completely shutting her down and schooling her, no pun intended, with those insults. Good little stuff there from him. Kind of underrated for him.
Yeah, he calls her pumpkin, and then he basically is like, just go and do the dishes. And then he says, I'm gonna beat up the man who ruined Mike Knox's relationship with you. So he's talking about CM Punk, and that is our first match in CM Punk versus Matt Striker. Diving lariat by Punk. I said lots of pin attempts by both stars. CM Punk sends Striker to the outside. A flying knee and bulldog to Striker. Lots of moves by Matt Striker as well. Striker was really holding his own against Punk. He wasn't just going down to Punk and submitting like that. It was a really good, solid match. And then at the end, Kelly distracts Matt Striker by revealing what's under her top, and Punk gets a surprise roll up. I went 1.5 stars, Steve. I thought it was a good match, and Striker held his own.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I actually went 2.5. I really liked the match. I thought, kind of a little hidden gem here for a Striker who you don't think of as for his in-ring ability. Obviously, he's a good talker, but you forget that he is a solid guy in the ring, and obviously Punk is Punk. He can, it's the old proverbial, he could take a broomstick to 3 stars, and he, did a good job here with Striker. I found it interesting that they announced on the commentary that both guys would be a part of the Royal Rumble match. But then when we see the graphic for the match later in the night, Striker's nowhere to be found. So I found that interesting that they mentioned he's going to be in the match when he's not. So I just thought that was kind of weird. And I like, again, you figured since, Kelly was at ringside the whole time, you figured she was going to get involved. And yeah, she shows off her assets there to Striker to get Punk the win. And I always found it interesting because the whole catalyst of, Knox and Punk, Kelly's, breakup was the fact that she had this, infatuation with Punk, but Punk never seemed to reciprocate that attraction. He always seemed very indifferent to it. He never during even the whole feud, he never really kind of showed interest in her, and even here where she helps him wins the match, and he doesn't even acknowledge her at ringside. She's celebrating and so happy that he won. And yeah, he doesn't even give her an acknowledgement. It's at least acknowledge her there. Jeez. It just seems weird. It's you got Kelly who's got this, almost schoolgirl infatuation for Punk, and he barely even notices that she's there. Just seems kind of weird.
I think CM Punk needs to go to acting lessons on how to be a charming young man.
Well, anyone knows his real personality. I don't think that would be easy for him because he just seems like a natural asshole.
Yeah. So, Steve, we have our really do a real like first debut for ECW and WWE. We have the alpha male Marcus Cor versus Cassidy Riley. Steve, did you know like that was I knew it was Monty Brown from TNA. I was surprised. I was like, what's he doing here? Like, he was with like Jeff Jarrett, like in that whole like feud versus Sting, and then now he's on ECW, and I was hoping that WWE really gave him a chance because he looked jacked and like he looked like he was the alpha male.
Oh yeah, I had heard of him. I wasn't watching TNA at the time, but I had heard of him. I heard he was you hear things about that he was a big name there. He for a while there he got like extremely over to the point that everyone thought he was going to be world champion, and I think he had like one match with Jarrett that he ended up losing, and then he like turned heel and allied with him. And a lot of people said that he lost a lot of momentum. And it was a big deal when WWE signed him. I remember they did like a big article about it in WWE.com. They touched on his previous, past playing football when he was with the Bills, and that he was a wrestler. They didn't mention TNA by name, but they mentioned that he was a top guy, top wrestler. And this was a big deal because when you talk about the guys that jumped from TNA to WWE, he was really the first one. I mean, he was, he'd been there since the beginning in 2002. He'd grown his name there, and now he's, coming here. And, when we talk to guys, later down the line, like AJ and Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode, who jumped ship from TNA to WWE, Monty was really the first one. And like you said, right off the bat, he looks like a star. He has the charisma. He's got the presence. The name's kind of interesting. I think they kind of, They spelled the way they spelled his first name made it seem like it was going to be pronounced Marquis or Marquise, but they kept calling him Marcus through. And I think by the next week, the name they changed the first name to Marcus, but they keep the alpha male nickname. I loved how they announced that he was from the animal kingdom, which I thought was so funny because I think I remember in TNA he was usually announced like from the Serengeti. So if you listen to our friends over at Highway to the Impact Zone, they would know for sure. But yeah, definitely a big time get for them, and putting him on ECW I thought was a good choice because they can give him a chance to really get his name going. And kind of funny here that the guy he's facing here, Cassidy Riley, another TNA alum here, although he's obviously not on the same level as Corvan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, wait a second, is that the same Cassidy Riley? Like, I mean, I didn't even know. Like, I mean, I've been heard of Cassidy Riley. I was like, wait a second, is that the same guy like everyone talks about now? And also, I think what also gave him the Animal Kingdom, his leopard. I think it's like his like leopard wardrobe, like like when he was in TNA, he always had like cheetah outfits, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, the fans were cheering TNA off the bat. They know who he is. Not a whole lot, but everyone knew. Some people knew that. Oh, this is Monty Brown from TNA. A butterfly suplex from Marcus, and he does that 3-point stance. I think in TNA he called it the pounce. So he's basically keeping that. I don't know if he was allowed to keep that or not. If that was a move that was his own thing or not. But I know he did that in TNA and he's doing it here in WWE. And then he gets him in the armbar submission for the win. I only went a star because it was a squash, but he looked very impressive.
Yeah, I went half a star. Basic squash, and that pouncy hit looked really good. And Joey and Taz were marking hard over it. Taz like, oh, that was sweet. What a hit! I thought that was good. Wasn't too crazy about the finisher that Russian leg sweep into the armbar. I'm not sure why he didn't just keep the pounce as his finisher. I don't know if that's. Excuse me, how long that'll be till I think he eventually does go back to the pounce as his finisher, but But yeah, like you said, basic stuff to get him over, and then he cuts a quick promo, kind of saying that he's here to make an impact and to make a statement, and he's a guy I really want to keep track of as we go through 2007, because I think when we get closer to like the spring and the summer, what ends up happening with ECW, I think he's a guy they really could have used to really prop up their main event scene, and we'll kind of see it throughout the year. But he's someone I really just want to keep track of.
Yeah, me as well, and see where a couple of these guys go, along with Elijah Burke and a little bit of Sylvester Terkay too. Let's see, which one of those three lasts the longest too, because Elijah Burke is going to put on a performance too with the Sandman tonight. If we didn't mention it before, because now we're going to get a promo from Bobby Lashley. It is a triple threat match tonight for the ECW title. It's Bobby Lashley versus RVD versus Test. Test finally gets a chance at Bobby Lashley's gold. However, it is a triple threat match. Bobby Lashley says the odds aren't in his favor, but he will leave the ECW with the ECW title. Short and sweet, but I feel like we keep getting repeats. Oh, I'm going to leave as champion. No, I'm going to leave as the champion. It's staying with me. But we know that not a lot of these guys can have the promo power. So let's keep it short and sweet, right, Steve?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like you said, he puts over that he can lose the belt without being pinned, and he says about how he has respect for RVD, but he doesn't have any for Test. So yeah, pretty short and sweet, and for Lashley, that's fine.
Yeah. So now we have Elijah Burke versus the Sandman. This stems from last week when Elijah Burke made an open challenge, and then the Sandman started caning Elijah Burke. Instead of Elijah Burke getting the cane, though, Sandman canes Sylvester. And then a bulldog by the Sandman. Sandman looks like he's going to go up and give Elijah Burke a suplex, but Elijah Burke basically elbows the Sandman off, and Sandman falls backwards. This seemed like a weird pin. I don't know. It seems botched as well, but we knew that Elijah was trying to cheat, but he did a bad job at cheating. He goes to pull, he basically is pulling the trunks of Sandman's jeans, but he I guess he slipped, it wasn't where it was supposed to be, for the grasp of the trunks. And Elijah Burke ends up getting the win. I went a half a star here, Steve.
Yeah, I went a quarter star. It was not much. Terkay took a nice little cane shot there from Sandman, so props to him. But it's weird because at one point Sandman's grabbing onto his ribs, and I don't know if he's just doing a really good job selling it, or if he looks like he's legitimately hurt, because it looked like he's at one point struggling to get up to the top rope, and then when he gets shoved off, it just seemed like they went right to the finish. It just seems kind of a weird ending. And again, I don't know if Sandman was legitimately hurt, or if he was just really good at selling it, but yeah, just nothing doing here, just to give Burke a win.
Yep. So now, before we get to the main event, we have a promo from Kevin Thorne and Ariel. There's one rose petal and 29 other black rose petals. The black rose petals will fall, and Kevin Thorne is that red rose petal that will survive in the 30-man Royal Rumble. Good luck with that one, pal.
Yeah, I mean, fine stuff again. Ariel looking really hot, but I mean, did anybody legitimately think this guy had a shot to win the Royal Rumble? I mean, it was called the most star-studded Rumble in history, and he's probably number 30 on that list.
He's not a star on that Rumble, he's at the way, way bottom. Maybe they had a heat segment where it was Stryker versus Kevin Thorne to see who they wanted really on the Royal Rumble card match.
Yeah, he's definitely on the short list of long shots. He's probably if you were gambling in Vegas, he's probably the one of 50,000 odds.
Yeah. if it wasn't scripted, it's like maybe Kevin Thorne could win. But now we do have our main event. It is Test versus RVD versus Lashley, a triple threat match for the ECW title. Lashley and Test start brawling outside, so these two are just going at it from like transpiring into last week. But really good punches thrown by both men, like good brawling, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But you can tell right off the bat that already RVD feels like just the third guy in the match.
Yeah, that he's gonna be on the out soon, and it's gonna switch over to Test being the bad guy for Lashley's title. RVD kicks Lashley in the face. Test throws RVD to the outside. The spinning leg dive to Test. So Lashley and RVD. So Test on the outside. Lashley and RVD start where they left off. Test gets knocked to the outside again. And then we're back from a commercial. When we return from commercial, Test is beating on both Lashley and RVD. So strong beatings to Test and RVD to Lashley and RVD from Test. A huge clothesline to RVD. All three are really trying to pin one another, like to become the ECW title, but everyone keeps on kicking out. RVD tries to go for a split-legged moonsault, but gets pushed off the top rope to the barricade, basically. Multiple kicks by RVD to Test and Lashley. I'll say that push from the top rope to the top turnbuckle to the outside by Test RVD looked really, really insane.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get multiple kicks by RVD to Test and Lashley. A huge diving elbow by Test to Lashley. But Lashley kicks out. A double rolling thunder by RVD. The 5-star frog splash to Test, but Test rolls out to the outside. So RVD cannot get the pin. A spear to RVD and the Dominator by Lashley. So RVD takes the pin and Lashley retains the title. However, Test takes the title and hits Lashley with it. I went 1 star and 3/4, Steve, on it. Really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I went 2.5 on it. I thought all three guys, they all looked really good. Like I said, even though RVD was definitely the third man in the match and a lot of the focus was on Lashley and Test, I thought he looked really solid with his offense. I love the double rolling thunder on both of them. I thought that was a good little spot. But like I said, obviously being the third man, he was going to be the one to take the pin because they wanted to keep Test strong. So he does get like you said, the 5-star off, but then Test rolls out of the ring and that allows Lashley to hit the spear and then the power slam for the win. And then, like you said, then Test, kind of seals the belt away for a bit and then he hits Lashley in the head with this. So clearly setting those two up for to be the big feud here going into the Rumble. So, good solid triple threats. And back-to-back weeks now of really good main events to carry these shows.
Yeah, so really good main events. The mid card is getting a little bit better, but it's time to like you said, with Great Khali going to Raw, it sounded like to rebuild some of the guys and reshuffle the deck to see what kind of mid card feuds we can get for those who are not competing in the main event for the ECW title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can see, like Punk's starting to get more elevated, and we got Corvan coming in now as a new first face, and it looks like Burke's going to get a bit of a push. Striker, Thorne, so you can see the outline really of where they want to go for this mid card as they kind of started to maybe kind of shy away a bit from the old guard because it's like Sandman's jobbing quickly to Burke and Dreamer jobbed the Khali and there's no Sabu, there's no like Balls Mahoney, a lot of those like old like ECW guys that came in and when the brand relaunched are kind of slowly being phased out. We're seeing this, young blood start coming in and kind of filling up those, shoring up the mid card here of ECW.
And you can actually, and with that, you can actually tell that, the old guard left with Paul Heyman basically leaving as well. So this is definitely a step up to Vince and his writing, his group of writers writing for ECW as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it'll be interesting to see what how the weeks play out as we go into and past the Rumble, and especially going into WrestleMania, because you figure they're probably going to do something big for the brand for the big show of the year.
Yeah, let's see where everything goes. It's looking good, strong start. Well, that's going to do it for us on Extreme Resurrection. But before we go, Steve, do you have anything that you want to plug for the Place to Be listeners?
Yeah, so you can usually find me over on the PTB Pop Experience. I have a few shows over there. Pop Goes to Classics, where myself, Andy Atherton, and Miranda Berthold are going through all the Disney animated films. A little bit of a hiatus right now, but we hope to be back within this next month here as we get to the back half of the Disney Renaissance with some interesting films coming up. I also have Making Mount Rushmore, where me and a group of people come on and we go through we make our own Mount Rushmores of different variant topics. Lots of fun there. And then also we have the PTB Video Jukebox Song of the Day, where every Monday through Friday you get one person, usually myself, Andy, John Kisalica, Scott Criscolo, and a couple of others to come on, and we basically just watch a random music video and talk about it. It's been a lot of fun. We're about a little over 60 days into this. It's been going really strong, and we look forward to seeing that continue on. So other than that, you can usually find me also on the PTB Facebook page. Lots of great discussions going on over there. Our current tournament is going on, where we are determining the greatest animated film of all time. Depending on when this drops, we should be either deep into round 2 or wrapping up round 2 and going into round 3. Lots of great matches coming up. Lots of big names still up in the air. There have been not too many upsets. There's been a few, though, that have made me want to put my fist through the wall. But that's what makes these tournaments a lot of fun, because it generates a lot of good discussions with everybody. So be sure to, if you're a member of the Facebook page, to get in there and vote.
I'm just going to say it now, Steve, because I'm a little bit annoyed about it. I can't believe the Simpsons movie lost to Frozen.
That doesn't surprise. I'm not surprised about that. As much as I like the Simpsons movie, that wasn't. I actually was more upset that Brave got knocked off by Ants in the first round.
Oh, good God! You got voted Brave. I was like, Ants. This is just a ripoff of A Bug's Life. Come on. I actually saw Ants in the theater. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I've heard it's okay, but it should not. Brave is like one of the most underrated films Pixar's ever done. That should have at least gotten to the second round.
Yeah. Well, nothing for me on the other podcast, but hopefully I get some stuff in with the North South feed, and I'll be back on Beverly Hills 9021 No So that has its own channel where Justin and Tim cover all the Beverly Hills 90210 episodes. They're off and running on season 2, so hopefully I'll get back on there and cruise with them in Beverly Hills 90210. So from Steve Riddle, I'm James Gruenberg. This is Extreme Resurrection, and we will see you next time.
Trouble, you're gonna see that your words are dangerous, your talk is cheap. So now I'm standing here, you tell yourself you know what to do.